Welcome back to Dan91's garage. As you might have noticed, we've actually made it outside for once, and it's currently a lovely sunny Sunday morning, but unfortunately both me and the Stig are late for church. So what I'm going to do is now hand over to my tame racing driver, who's going to take this thing for a quick cruise through Mexico. See you in a sec, guys. Okay, so the Stig's dropped the car off and he's given me a little feedback report to go with it. So starting it from a cold start is a little bit of a pig. You have to sort of pump the throttle and give it a little bit of a tickle just to get it to actually fire up from cold. I think it's because we've obviously got bigger injectors that are putting a lot of fuel in, making it even richer than it should be at a cold start when it's doing its cold start strategy. And it's now got heat range 7 spark plugs in it. And I think I might have sooted them up a bit because it's been sitting for sort of extended idle times and just not really driving very much until I finally got it back on the road. So I think I might have sooted up the plugs. So I'll have a look at that, and that should be something easy to fix for the future. Out on the road, it's only producing about 5 psi of boost at the moment. So obviously I had to take the actuator off, make a custom bracket for it and stuff. I'm sure you've seen the videos of the build where I had to mess about with that. So I basically had to guess how much tension was required to put the actuator rod back onto the actual flapper. I must have been close, because if we're getting 5 psi in the manifold, it must be producing probably about 8 psi actually at the turbo. So obviously you're going to lose some boost through the pipes and across the intercooler and then back up to the other side through the throttle body. So to lose 2 to 3 psi across there isn't too bad, I don't think. So that's something to fix, but that'll be coming up in another episode how I'm going to do that. AFRs on when you're actually out driving it, on cruise, they're about 14.7, so it oscillates as you'd expect in closed loop once it's warmed up, to 14.5 to 15, 14.5. So it's essentially running the same AFR as it was on the smaller injectors before it was turboed. So it's on cruise, it should be okay, and generally speaking, the same miles per gallon, I suppose, which was terrible anyway, so that's not really the point of this car. But yeah, and flat out full throttle is anywhere from 12.5 to 11.5, which is pretty safe. So I'd want to see about 12.5 really minimum when it's on boost. But yeah, it sometimes goes as rich as 11.5. But again, we have no real control over the fueling. We don't even have an adjustable fuel pressure regulator because it's a returnless system. So basically, if we want it to be any leaner, we're going to have to add some boost. But being as it's only got 5 psi in it at the moment, we've got another 1 or 2 pounds to add before basically this fuel system runs out of headroom. And essentially that was well known that these injectors are going to do that at that point. So that's pretty cool, and it seems to be behaving as it should anyway, so that's all good. Okay, so the gearbox isn't particularly happy about the shift from first to second at full throttle, at full boost that this is producing basically. So I've checked the fluid in it and it was about ½ litre low, but I've topped it up and been out for another drive with the Stig, and it's still doing the same thing first to second. It's not all the time, but sometimes when it shifts from first to second, it sort of like over revs, or I don't know if it's really flaring. I don't know whether it's the converter or the gearbox is slipping, but it doesn't feel like the gearbox is slipping. It sounds like something weird going on with the converter overspeeding or something, and it's trying to lock up but then doesn't. So there's something weird going on there, but it doesn't happen every time. It's only every other time. So I don't want to hurt the gearbox. So I know it's got the right amount of fluid in it now. So what I'm going to do is basically just modify my driving technique, that obviously first gear flat out till about 6,000 RPM, and then if you lift off by 1 inch or 2 and then roll back into the throttle, it does a nice solid shift and then drives through without any sort of slurring or flaring. So I'm just going to give it a break between the first to second shift and try and prolong the life of it. The weird thing is second to third, where it's obviously going to have sort of more power, or whatever, it should have a bit more power because of the resistance from the drive line, but that just bangs in hard, and there's no weirdness in the second to third shift. So we're just going to take care of first, and that'll be that basically. So you might have noticed from the video footage there's some pretty noticeable turbo whistle. That's obviously because the compressor cover has a anti-surge sort of feature on it, and that kind of acts like a T51R mod, where it basically whistles as it spools up. So boost threshold, with the gearbox in top gear and the converter locked, roughly you get 0 psi at about 2000 RPM. So that's pretty well sized sort of turbo wise, and the sort of log manifold is also helping with early spool as well, but it doesn't like come in hard or anything where it would sort of endanger the rod's sort of structural abilities. So I'm quite happy with that. It just basically feels like a bigger engine. Like I said, there's quite a noticeable whistle at about 2000 RPM upwards. It kind of almost sounds like I don't know if you know them big old army trucks from like the Vietnam War era, I think it was, the M35s. They were, you could hear them things coming over the horizon, just like a diesel wail and this whistling, screaming turbo. So yeah, she's pretty vocal, and which brings me on to the next thing of dose. Some pretty epic dose noises, as you can hear in the video. Lots of chattering going on up and down the air filter pipe and boost pipes, basically. But yeah, I don't know if I like it or not. I'm a child who grew up in the 80s, so everything that had a turbo that was built in the 90s by young hooligans ended up with a dump valve on it. So I don't know if one sort of like psh from a dump valve is better than the sort of stew chattering you get. I don't know. Put it down in the comments which one you prefer, whether you're a dose guy or a dump valve guy. But yeah, that's basically it. The car's pretty much done for the summer now. I've got a couple of bits to fix, like I said, keep an eye on the gearbox, increase the boost, all that sort of stuff, but that'll be coming up in a later episode. So thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you've all seen the series, boys and girls. If you haven't, hopefully this may inspire you to go back and watch the build from start to finish. It's only like 7 or 8 episodes, and it's actually a pretty decent outcome, I think. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next episode.